Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Irish column for Sunday, the 20th of October, 2024. My name is Paul Fitzsimons. I'm joined here tonight with Anthony Casey. How are you, Anthony? How's things?
Doing all good. How's everyone doing? Hope they're keeping well in the storm.
Yeah, it's a windy one, all right. I'm out here and it's rattling here, and that's why I have the earphones on, and you might be able to hear it on the mic now in a few minutes. But listen, we'll soldier on. You know what I mean? I'm going to just bring up Martin Murphy, and I'm going to bring up Councillor Glenn Moore. Hello, lads. How are you?
All right, gents. How are we doing today?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good.
All good.
Good. Well, it's been an eventful week again, hasn't it? And we have... did you see the latest news that Jerry Hutch is running in Dublin North Central? Have you seen that?
Santa Claus, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you can wipe out Mary Lou.
Santa Claus, yeah. There you go. I'm just going to pull it up there and I'll let you just have a quick look at it there. But let me just throw it up there. Where are we? Share it up there. There he is. Vote number 1, Jerry Hutch. That's from the Sunday World. You know, I wonder will Ireland First and the Alliance send a message out to Twitter to Jerry Hutch telling them, oh, listen, Malachy's the strongest candidate down there. You need to step aside. I can't see that happening. Can you? You know what I mean? Yeah. Remember the way they did it on me in Dublin Bay North? You know yourself. Yeah, ask me arse. But there he is, Jerry Hutch, vote number 1.
But doesn't it show how politics has turned into... Politics used to be a serious business in this country, but it's actually turned into a version of what they have in the States. Because if you put incompetent people in office, which the Irish people have done for the last decade anyway, then this is what politics turns into. It's supposed to be a serious business. And this is what it's been kind of brought down to. But that's due to the incompetence of the people that are in office. If the people in office were respected, this wouldn't be happening.
It's true.
Couldn't agree with you more.
See, there's a lot of the people in office at the moment aren't really elected, and there's that controversy as well. You know, most formidably our Taoiseach, who has been sitting there, and the people are going on nostalgia of the old times and what Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael used to be. Certainly, Sinn Féin has fallen apart because they're not anything what they used to be. So yeah, it's interesting times where a lot of new faces with new backgrounds coming to the forefront in politics.
I don't know whether to believe that about Hutch or laugh, to be honest, XD. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Jerry Hutch has done more for the inner city than what any of this government has done. I'm being honest with you. He's done boxing clubs. He's built housing estates. He really has. Now, I know he is what he is. Don't get me wrong. But as you said, Martin, this is the way politics has gone, isn't it? Like, Sinn Féin are decimated. Sinn Féin are gone. You know what I mean? Sinn Féin are traitors, actually.
It's kind of a tough one. If you are like, there's different levels of crime, right? And I believe that if you are a certain level of criminal, it'd be very hard to quantify. You should be, we'll say, disallowed from running for public office. I mean, there's plenty of criminals in the Dáil already that should be behind bars. But I think there's certain levels of, like, if you're linked to organized crime, if you're linked to terrorist organizations, you should not be allowed to run for public office. So that's just my personal take on it. Like, if you've gone to prison for drug dealing, you should not ever be allowed to stand for public office. If you've gone to prison for any sort of, we'll say, violent crime, you shouldn't be allowed to. You know, there should be a price to crime, and you should lose some of your rights for life, or even for a period of time. You know, you can get put off the road for 2 years for having a pint. You know what I mean? There should be something similar in relation to being allowed to run for public office.
It's hard to even react to it, I
how's your
suppose, isn't it? Like it's what's real on the TV anymore. I don't know.
But like it's the
the
same as
Sunday World are going with it.
Yeah. Look, that's a rag. You know what I mean? It's just a rag of a newspaper. Like it's just.
I know.
But it's the same. But it's the same as Conor McGregor running for president. You know what I mean? Now, personally, as an MMA fan, you know what I mean. I like what Conor McGregor's done. I love the fact that he did exactly what he said on the tin, like get in, get rich, get out. You know, you can't begrudge a man that. You know what I mean? But in relation to entering politics and running as a president and an ambassador to Ireland, would he be any worse than what we currently have? The honest answer is no. But is that who I want to see representing the country? I want people who have the intelligence, have the knowledge, have the personality, but most importantly, the compassion and the empathy to be in office. That's really, really important, and that's what's missing from our current crop of politicians. They have zero empathy. They're borderline sociopaths. You know what I mean? They've no empathy whatsoever to the struggles of everyday life. So I really want politics to get very, very conservative again. I think that's the best way to go forward. And like we laugh and joke on this, and that's because this is just life. You know what I mean? It's not politics, although we discuss politics. But those in office, I want them to be conservative people. I want them to be thoughtful people. But most importantly, I want them to have massive amounts of empathy. And I don't want them to want to do the job. I want them to be kind of forced into doing the job because they're good at it, as opposed to these T-boys and legacy characters whose dad happened to be a politician, or you're just in the family, or you're just in the know. We need to get that out of our politics.
Yeah.
How are you finding the doors, Glenn?
About 95% was perfectly okay with me. 95% in terms of okay, and then about 85% was totally with me completely. In terms of they would give my vote, they would give me their vote. So the main issue that they wanted to hear was immigration. As soon as you mentioned immigration, they'll freely talk about immigration. But I can see it in their eyes that a lot of them wait for you to actually mention it, because you could talk about other things, but as soon as you mention immigration, then they'll start talking. Be like, thank God you mentioned it, like, because I have a serious problem with it. I'd be saying, Irish Freedom Party has been saying this from the very beginning. We're one of the few parties that are not afraid to speak about it. And our stances won't change. We won't be. I was kind of mentioning there today about a long time Sinn Féin voter, and they were talking to Sinn Féin. They were saying that Sinn Féin is at the door saying that they're against immigration, but he knows technically they're not. And he was like, well, but there you go. That's one party that will change their views in order to get votes. So it's like my stance would be very clear at the door about immigration. That's it. It won't change. I won't lie to a person to gain a vote. So I think that's a serious problem with parties in Ireland, where they will lie at the door to get a vote. They definitely will do that.
Yeah,
I've seen it. So, but we do have a momentum here in the Dublin Midwest anyway. Yeah. The Irish Freedom Party does. So if I do keep it up.
We're getting the glitches there for some reason. We're getting.
If I do keep it up and I manage to visit every household in the Dublin Midwest, I am looking at a victory. Hopefully, looking at a victory. That's my belief, because I was absolutely shocked from the responses at the door. The local elections, I didn't have much time. My job took up most of my time, so I was only able to do the weekends, only a few hours here and there. So I was doing mostly leaflet drops, and whatever house I was visiting, I was getting good responses. But I've managed to go through. I'm picking estates every time, and I'm knocking on every single door. So I'm not dropping the leaflets in. I'm knocking on every door.
Yeah.
And every door that's opened has been good. They've promised a vote. They said you're getting a 100%, and they've always mentioned it. You're not giving it to any people for Prof or Sinn Féin or Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. They're not getting it. I've secured votes. So.
Here you are there, Glenn. You'll be getting my vote again, Glenn Moore. If you knock on my door, Oatfield Avenue, yes again.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. and today I met a lady actually that said I'm getting the vote because they were watching you, Anthony. So the Irish Freedom Party's name and candidates are spreading far and wide.
yeah, I hope I get the same reception at the door in South Kildare. I'm hoping to be out this week if I get a batch. I'm actually going to go to the printer tomorrow
Yeah.
and get a batch, and I have my information evening coming up on
I
Friday
hope I get it
in
too.
Castlemermott.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, look, that's great to hear, Glenn, because you're the first one at the door, and happy days. You know, I think you're coming across well for everyone, and it's nice to see you're leading by example for us, really, because we're seeing how you're attacking it and how you've had success. So it's great for us to get an insight there.
Yeah. Especially because I have much more time now. Look, I have a lot more time, so it'll be a different.
I'm just looking at a comment there. Just a comment there. Oh my God, you've no knowledge of Jerry Hutch as a person. He's a very intelligent man, and ask anyone who knows him about empathy. He's anti-drugs and family orientated, and he is anti-drugs because I remember my uncle Tommy Fitzsimons from Eastwall. He marched with him. Wendy marched on the houses all them years ago, and he is anti-drugs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Listen, he is what he is. You know what I mean? But I think he's empathetic as well. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I was even saying today about Jerry Hutch that if he was to take anyone's votes, it'd be Mary Lewis. There's plenty of people out there who would vote for Mary Lou, and they'll switch straight to him. So none of us in this party will say he's not going to get any votes, and we'd be stupid to actually say that. There's actually a legitimate reason why he's actually considering to run, because he actually does have a chance. And that's in some sort of strange way he does, because a lot of people actually love him. It's very strange, and I can't explain. I know the inner city.
Well, see, it's the anti-hero. Pablo Escobar got voted to Congress or the whatever the equivalent of that was in was it Colombia or where was Escobar from? Pablo Escobar. Colombia, yes, but he actually got elected. He got elected to their parliament legally. He went as a running mate and had somebody run for him, and then when they got elected, they stepped down and he stepped in as his running mate. The system's slightly different over there, so it's not unheard of. You know, and again, you know, look, is that the kick in the system that's needed? Maybe. Is it the kick in the system I want? No, I have no problem in saying that no, I want serious conservative legislators. That's what I want in government. There's some things that need to be done with the civil service as well. We may need to look at an El Salvador kind of approach, as in, you know, and Elon Musk is talking about it over in America now, that he is going to, we'll say, strip their equivalent of the civil service over there if Trump gets back in, and get back to productivity and actually providing services, as opposed to what we have at the minute, which is just an absolute mess. Interesting comments there coming in on.
That's great, interesting. Jerry for president.
Another great thing I had at the door as well is that even though I've had great success by talking about immigration, I've mentioned at the doors in my local area that if I was to win a seat in the general election, my seat would be given to a lady called Lorraine Doyle. And Lorraine Doyle is well connected with the Natural Women's Council, and she's very much for the protection of women's rights and the protection of children in school. She's a secretary within my local constituency, and she's been in the school for 41 years. And she knows the entire community. She knows how well everybody knows how well she loves children, and the protection of them, especially from the ideologies that are attempting to attack them, has earned me a lot of votes, because there's a good few houses I was talking at about immigration, and they were yeah. And as soon as I mentioned Lorraine Doyle and Natural Women's Council, protection of children and women and all that, the mothers at the door were like, okay, fair enough, you have my vote straight away. Mm-hmm. So that's another good topic for any candidates out there, especially for women at the door, Irish mothers, talking about the protection of women and children in this country from ideologies that are after them, that won't recognise their sex, and transgender ideologies or sexualization of children or of minors and stuff like that. Mothers will open their eyes straight away and listen to you. That'll definitely earn you votes.
I'm just going to throw this out here. There's the comment live or call on WhatsApp on 089 203 1521. And Jerry Hutch, if you're listening, or anyone who knows Jerry, call me there and we can bring you in and let you have a chat.
Bring him. Jesus. I'm sorry. I would love to have that conversation. I would absolutely love to have that conversation.
Come in and have a chat.
To be honest, we would show a respectful we respectful towards them. It's not a joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I'm sorry, but that would be fascinating. That would be a
Yeah,
fascinating
it would be
conversation.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not ignorant of the people of the inner city and what he's done for people in there, and like everybody knows him there. So I mean, we'd be
Glenn, I'd be honest with you. You know, I'm a country bumpkin, so I would be ignorant. So my knowledge of the man comes completely from the likes of the rags I talked about earlier on, the Sunday World and things like that. Outside of that, I don't know anything about the man. You know what I mean? So my opinion is probably very, very biased. It'd be fascinating to talk to him. And
it would be fascinating. Like I'm not all knowing about the man, but
would he do minutes to midnight? I wonder.
I mean, but if he wants to run for elections, and he will, it'd be actually interesting to hear his topics and how
very interesting. Yeah, a lot of people are very interested in it here in the comments. That everything is very much about him. I don't know really what to make of it. I don't know. You know what I know of him. Look, you know, I'm probably going to reserve my opinion on it because I'd be too ignorant to speak on it, to be honest.
But you know what's funny? I'm sitting here thinking about, you know, oh, there's a guy that was on the front page of the Sunday World so many times in so many stories. We've been electing terrorists, or the country's been electing terrorists for fucking 40, 50 years.
Yes.
Sorry, it just dawned on me there. We've elected murderers. We've elected paramilitaries. We've elected. Why not? Why not? Jesus, sorry, go for it.
And now we've elected pedophiles to it also.
Yeah,
exactly. Now you have it. Yeah, Jerry. Well, the working class in the inner city out voting. That's frightening to the political class, and it is. Yeah, it is frightening to them.
Well, that's why he's a very big threat towards Sinn Féin in the inner city. 100%.
Yeah,
he's a massive threat. Well, look, I mean, Malachi's in there. Is Malachi in the same as Mary Lou? Is he?
I'm just reading this here. Does the Natural Women's Council? Yeah, Malachi is in there. Yeah, but I'm just reading this here, Medell. Does the Natural Women's Council condemn the vaccination of children when it is not a vaccine according to Pfizer's own data? Genocide of children. I'll be honest, Adele, I don't know what their stance is on vaccines, but
I don't know.
I can look into it for you and I can get back to you on that, Adele. That's no problem. We can talk about that in a few minutes. And anyway, a couple of videos about vaccines going to come up and anyway. But we've a few here. JFK Limerick. Hello there, John. How are you? But somebody posted up there earlier, how's my brother? My brother was involved in a hit and run yesterday. A guy, he was driving to work yesterday morning at 8:15 up by Kettle's Hotel there on the Swords, out the back of Swords. And he told me, he said, I thought I was dead. He said, for the split second, he said, your man was head on. He said, he overtook 3 or 4 cars. And my brother was heading, he was doing about 60 miles an hour. He said, your man was doing about 120 coming towards him, he said, my brother turned up onto the embankment, went that way, and your man slid along the side of the car, took the whole back off the back of the car, and kept driving. And he went to the guards, and the guards said, listen, there's not really much we can do. You haven't got a reg. And that I put it out. So I'm going to put it out again now. It was a silver Mondeo. If anyone's seen it, if anyone has any dash cam footage, please get in contact with me at the show tonight, or get in contact with me on that mobile number there, and we'll walk from there. But he was very lucky yesterday. But he's okay. The car is still driving. Not great, but it's still driving. But yeah, okay, that's that gone there. Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
Somebody posted up there, he's a patriot. Pablo was a drug baron, which is true.
Pablo was loved by his people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I suppose in the same way.
I think he was more feared. I think he was more feared than loved. To be honest,
Paulo o Plata. But you know, no, like he had every single person involved in criminality has their own people, and they, you know what I mean. They normally look after their own area, you know what I mean, and their own people and their own family and their own friends and stuff like that. So it's kind of it's an odd one, you know what I mean. The most dangerous people on the planet can also be some of the, you know what I mean, most how do you say it, family orientated, community orientated. You know, it's a bit of a contradiction, but such is life.
Yeah, keep sharing this out, everyone. There, we're up to 400 there now at the minute. Fair play. Keep sharing it. Share it far and wide. Okay.
70 genders on the dial. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna just go with Matty McGrath here, right? I want to just go with Matty McGrath here. There's apparently there's 536 million missing. Hang on there, I'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna play this.
Didn't ask. So I asked the question about the 530 million that's been robbed from the people that was collected in carbon tax, supposed to go back into retrofitting. And you went off of this pillar, that pillar, and the other pillar, around the house and mind the dresser. But you won't answer the question. But you're going around now canvassing every day and you're getting questions asked you and you can't answer them. Only waffle. This is fact. This is the controller, not the general. Do we give up altogether if we don't accept his reports? 530 million of the 1.36 billion collected from the people. Unfortunate people that are trying to live and survive and carry out business and travel to work. And there you are, telling us about all was spent here and there. I asked the question about 536 million missing. Imaha, Tosh Imaha. Like snow off a ditch. Doesn't matter to you anymore. The bike shed is only a chicken feed according to this. 536 million unaccounted for according to the Controller and Auditor General. Not Matty McGrath's word. So spin your way out of that.
Well, first of all, Deputy, I commend your mastery of alliteration, but could I just say that what you're saying isn't true? I mean, the bottom line is
CNAG.
Very significant funding has been allocated to retrofitting. Yeah, but let me take the issue.
Please.
There's an allocation to social protection, which goes into the various schemes to do with fuel poverty, and that's very clear in terms of what we've done on the fuel allowance, right? So that's happened. I'm answering your question. The retrofitting has been enormous allocation.
Where's the missing money?
And it's come from the carbon fund.
Where's the missing money?
And also, thirdly, in terms of agri-environmental schemes, that also has happened. In terms of the 113 million in carbon tax funding that's been allocated to agri-environmental schemes. Now, what I think we could do is, and I'm not sure whether you, and I invite you to support me in this because you have genuine concerns about where the funding is going. We could legislate to ring-fence the funding in legislation. And I think that would satisfy your needs. But I wonder, would you be supportive of that if the next government?
Where's the money gone?
If the next government was to bring in legislation to ring-fence the funding for specific purposes.
And what about the missing money?
Thank you. There's no missing money.
536 million.
Thank you.
According to the CNAG.
Please.
You know, that
brilliant,
has
isn't
to
he?
be the best for anybody to speak so clearly like Martin does, whatever. But to hear that in the background going, where's the Mrs. Money? Where is it? Where's it? Where's the Mrs. Money?
Carwill on Arrogate.
Yeah.
Voice on like on the bell now. Where's the money?
Yeah, it's and that is the reason that I will not run in South Tipperary because I would not risk taking one single vote off that man. The amount of time he's done that in the Dáil, and a lot of people don't get to see the work he does up in the Dáil. He has called out the government on absolutely everything since go back to the start of COVID. He has called them out on everything. Absolutely, everything.
Yeah.
And he insults the living shit out of them as well, and they don't even realize they're being insulted half the time. Like,
someone posted there. What party do these men represent? Are they talking? Is that girl Vanessa Gannon talking about me and Anthony and Glenn? We're all Irish Freedom Party. We're all Irish Freedom Party. But again, as I told you before on this show, we have invited other guests on, and like me and Anthony host this every Sunday night. Glenn comes in to help us. Martin comes in to help us on the panel, and they're brilliant to have on the panel. But if anyone else wants to come on the panel, they're more than welcome. Send me a text and you can come on the panel and we can have a chat. That's no problem.
Do you know who I think I would invite on a guest for me would be my ally in the South Dublin County Council, Linda de Courcy, if I'm independent Ireland.
Well, you reach out to Linda. Because Orla asked me, would you reach out to, what's the girl in Laois? Elaine Mullally. Elaine Mullally would be a good one to get on, you know what I mean, and have a chat.
Yeah, I'm in contact with her team as well, and they've already begun canvassing and all that, and they're ready to go.
We've had Gavin on. Gavin's an independent. I've invited Malachy on umpteen times. I've invited Derek Bloy on. We had Derek on a few months ago. He doesn't come on now. Yeah, I had Derek on here twice or three times, like last year.
Brilliant.
But he don't come on now because they're part of the alliance. And listen, I don't care who comes on. The panel's the panel. You want to come on and you have something to say, come on. You know what I mean? It's no problem. You know what I mean?
We should make it very clear that, I'm pretty sure you already have, that any nationalist is more than welcome to come on. We're not enemies to any nationalists. We don't want to be. And to have them on this show is spreading their party. It's a no-brainer.
Look, I think the Irish column is a platform for ideas. If you have an idea, reach out to Anthony or Paul. And
and if there's any members of the National Alliance here listening, or if there's any candidates listening, you're more than welcome to come on. With all my respect, please, because it'd be great. It'd be actually great.
But, like, I've no problem in saying that I support every single nationalist out there. I'm on this. We're all on the same destination, slightly different roads, but we're all heading the same direction. So I'm supporting. Like I said, if I lived in any other constituency and there was no IFP candidate there, I'm voting for Independent Ireland. I'm voting for whoever is out there in that constituency. Because, like I said, nobody wins this alone. Nobody wins it alone.
Yeah. Neil just put up there. Matty McGrath's an independent, I think, and Micheál Martin is Fianna Fáil. Maybe that's what that girl meant. I don't know.
I'm glad somebody finally typed in Micheál Martin, because there was so many comments there going, Martin is this, Martin is
Martin. Oh yeah. I couldn't repeat some of the ones that came in there, like, you know what I mean.
They're not talking about me.
Yeah. No. I knew they weren't talking about you. Jesus Christ. Harris's 60k trip to Zurich on a plane. He wasn't an electric plane either. Like, this is this Green Deal shite. They're all talking about that doesn't exist. It's just a way of taxing you. That's all it is. Where's the money?
Someone asked is there an IFP candidate for Donegal? And the answer is yes, actually.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I haven't actually got his name. I might have it there. Hang on. What I'll do is I'll see if I can pull up all the candidates we have at the minute. I think we've a few more. I don't know whether you know, but I'm not going to say anything. But there's a few more high level ones coming in the next couple of days, and people will be shocked as to who will be joining us. But whether Herman wants to talk about it when he comes on later on, I don't know.
This is the fourth time I've heard about this.
Oh, seriously? So you're not in the clique.
You're in the VIP lounge or something I don't know about. What's this all about?
It was actually me who got it. Yeah, it was actually me who I think sorted it. I'm just going to read this one out. I was talking to Irish business owner today, and he said he has employed Ukraine workers and constantly going on holiday. He can't get them to work, while we struggle away on low-paid jobs and no houses. Now, I was actually talking to a taxi driver, a friend of mine, and she's part of the thing up in the airport, and it's just full of Pakistanis and Indians now. There's probably only 5% up there that are Irish. And the Irish taxi driving, if you go to, I'm actually in the process of doing it now, and I'm weeks waiting on a waiting list to get this. But yet these can come in and just get the test within about 2 weeks. They don't even do the same test as we do. And taxi drivers will tell you that. You know what I mean? So, what does that tell you? They're going to flood this place with, and these fellas are working 24 hours a day. The car's working 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? With 3 different drivers on it. You know what I mean? So, it's gone crazy the way they're bringing in low-paid workers to take our jobs and buy our houses. That's exactly what they're doing,
The worry is also with the fear, with the danger with the taxi drivers now. Like, I wouldn't be one for a few years ago saying use Uber or use whatever, but there seems to be a certain security of having a record of who's coming to collect you. It's a phone record of it. You can share that to someone, if you're getting a lift home, or say your partner was getting a lift home, there's a bit of, exactly who it is, and you can cancel if you don't feel right about it.
Well, I'll tell you what happened here last year or the year before. My dad, the Irish taxi drivers used to have Irish flags on their cars, and they were told to take them off. They weren't allowed to fly the Irish flag on their cars. That's what they were told. Now, that's about 3 or 4 years ago, because women didn't want to be getting into cars with black guys and Indian guys. They just didn't feel safe. They wanted Irish drivers. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's been Irish drivers have been done for rape and everything else, but women feel safer with an Irish driver than they do with an Indian driver or whatever. And you can say, if you get a one of these free now app thing, you don't have to take the first driver. You can wait until an Irish driver comes along, and you can say that, no, I don't want, I want an Irish driver. Now, they might leave you waiting for ages until an Irish driver comes along, but you have that option, and you have the option to walk down the taxi rank and pick out. You don't have to take the first car. They tell you have to, but you don't. You can pick whatever car you want on that rank, and nobody can tell you any different. So if people are worried about it, walk away. Just pick an honest driver. My dad
Look,
walks out
we
all
have
the
to be-
time. He's an honest driver.
We have to be
Well,
honest about this as well. I did a video this week about the, I think the video is up here, but the Kildare record crime rate at the moment.
Seen it.
Like it's a 20-year high record crime rate in Kildare at the moment. And we need to be focused on why that is. What we need to be investigating if 14 out of 15 Garda stations record record high numbers, higher than they've ever been in the last 20 years. We need to be looking at why that is, investigating that. And challenge it. I don't know if there's time to go through the whole video. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what it is. It's the CSO stats. It's and then it brings in a few reasons why I would like to bring in the same standard they have in Europe of equating crime with ethnicity. And I think that needs to be done when you have a situation where there's a mass amount of people coming in. The environment. It's not an opinion that we should do this to catch someone out. It's transparency for everybody. Because if they're being honest with the way their stand is on it, then sure, let the chips fall where they may. Why isn't this a norm here? It's a norm in most other European countries. And we need to investigate it, and that's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Someone else is in there. Invite the monk. He's invited. Jerry Hutch, if you're listening, or anyone who knows Jerry, come in. You can come on the show. We can have a chat. Few minutes of our time, few minutes of your time, and we can talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's no problem. I'm going to put the number back up again there. There you go. Contact me on that number, 089 203 1521, and we can go from there. Go ahead. Sorry, what were you going to say, Martin?
Just on to kind of carry on from what Anthony was saying there as well. The reality is, if you do not have all of the crime statistics broken down into ethnicity, you don't have an effective police force. Because if you can't identify where the issues are, you can't police the issues properly, or you can't put resources where they're required. If you have a certain community that has much higher crime statistics, then you need to police that community differently or better. You may need to put in community liaison officers, and you may need to actually look at funding for resources for education, for after school activities, for pathways into work, for apprenticeships, etc. But you have to be able to identify the reasons for the crime, and ethnicity is one of them. You do get ghetto culture and some culture and things like that, but we have that within our own demographic. Do you know what I mean? So if you're importing huge amounts of non-nationals with different cultures, of course you're going to get different problems. And if you don't have the data and the statistics, and they're not freely available for everybody to see, you're never going to be able to tackle the problem. You're probably actually going to make it worse just from misuse of resources.
Yeah, we have huge asshole on again. You know that fella that does come on a Sunday. I'm gonna show his comment, right? But this one here, Carol Nolan, will be a great guest. But then we have huge asshole IFP Sunday night. I love in. Why do I keep getting notifications for this crap? Just don't
Turn them off.
in. Just turn the notifications off and go on your point.
He's following.
It's the little bell. Yeah, the little bell. Just don't click the little bell.
And someone just posted underneath, because you're a huge asshole.
Just on the relations of crime, we've been getting a lot of just going to switch to the Shin Nadina initiative at the moment. We're getting a lot of people reaching out and getting a lot of stories from people, from elderly people in neighborhoods who feel like their neighborhood isn't as policed as it might have been in the past. And it just shows the necessity for some community watchdogs out there. We do have a 1-minute little clip, if you don't mind me playing it here, Paul, because it just gives the email address for people, for the most vulnerable people in society who feel as though they're at a loose end and there's things not being done to deal with the problem. I just played a minute of it, just an advert to
that, and you talk about Shannon Adina there. You're one of the founders.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's taken a sidestep just when we're down the criminal line of it. I have been hearing some heartbreaking stories. Lots of people have been reaching out to me, reaching out to the Shin Nadina initiative, and just when people do feel like they're in a bit of a corner, that there is something they can reach out to. There's email addresses. There's the DM. We launched a website this week. There'll be a hotline for people who are vulnerable, who feel as though they're not getting help where else they go to. There's a story, and there's someone commenting here who told me a story, and I don't know if she wants me to speak about it. It's a City West story. I'll leave that up to her. She can give me the thumbs up if she wants me to tell what happened this week. But there's a few stories out there where people are not getting the help they want, and they're the most vulnerable in society. And they should be looked after. At this stage in the game, we can see the government is acting reckless. They haven't got the police in. The police and prioritising the Irish. You can see that by Thornton Hall, the letter sent out last week that Paul was talking about. So, fortunately, there's a little bit of a step in has to be done.
Now, somebody reached out to me about that after the show and said, I sent it on to them, and they said that the guards, when that was being sent out by the guards, they would have Garda heading on it. And then I was talking to a guy I know who's a guard, said they wouldn't have put Garda heading on it. He said if they didn't want to know it came from the guards. So you don't know whether I don't know. I can't tell you for definite that it was the guards. But listen, it's frightening anyway just to see it. Like, you know what I mean? Irish taxis should put an Irish sticker on the windscreen. Yeah, but then what's going to happen is, sure, Irish citizens, all the black dudes are Irish citizens now, so they can put it on the window as well, you know. What do we think of the National Alliance, lads? Listen, I've no problem with them.
I have just a thing. I have great respect for obviously all nationalists, but the problem I have with the National Alliance is that they're using the name National Alliance to get themselves elected. But when they get themselves, if they do get seats, I believe they're going under the names of their parties once they take seats. So it's a bit confused. It will be confusing when you have people in the Dáil representing like the Nationalist Party or Ireland First, Independence, whatever it is, and then the next time in 4 years' time, or 4 or 5 years' time, when the next elections come about, the National Alliance will come about again, and then people were saying, well, we haven't heard from them in 4 or 5 years, but we've only heard from the other party. So it can be quite confusing. I believe, in my opinion, it can be confusing in terms of your brand and what you stand for. So you're standing underneath a name, and then that name disappears 4 or 5 years, and then the name comes about again. It should be just a combined party, and that's why I think a lot of us in the Irish Freedom Party have remained in the Irish Freedom Party, because it's a really good name, and we have a lot of organisation in it. We didn't see the need to join the National Alliance because we didn't see the full benefits of what it is. Now, I'm not attacking the National Alliance. I really do hope a lot of them get in, because we can't cover all of the areas. So just that's my opinion on the matter, and I don't know if the rest of you share the same, like Martin and Anthony, about the name National Alliance, and then
So I know that they had looked to get the National Alliance actually recognised by the Election Commission to try and use that logo and the thing. Do you know what I mean? So all the candidates could have the same logo, but I think that request was denied because it's not technically a political party. Like whatever candidates get, you'd imagine that whatever candidates get elected from the alliance will remain in the alliance, like the rural independents, and there's different groupings and blocks in the Dáil that get together for speaking time. So if you get into a block of 10 independents or a coalition, you get more speaking time. So I'd imagine that's what happens. They will stay together under that name. If it's possible, just to get the extra few minutes speaking time. Like I said, I'll tell you, there's good candidates out there. They have some really, really, really strong candidates, and there's more and more being added to the list. Yeah. And like I said, we're all in this together. More power to them. I've never shit on another nationalist, and I don't intend on doing it now. I may have had the odd personal comment with individuals, but like I said, it's all for the betterment of Ireland. The one thing I will call people out for, if I find a spoofer or guy running because of his ego, or
Yeah.
I'm going to call that out because
I'm going to weigh in on that as well, Martin. Like I have often said that I've never thrown stones at another nationalist candidate coming up here, or independent who has a good, who's coming from a good place. I do worry a little bit about. I would hope people are running for the right reasons and running candidates for the right reasons. I will say that, and I won't go too much further in saying what I'm saying, but a couple of people have been thrown at my constituency lately who aren't even from the constituency, and I can see that they're still looking for someone to run there, and they're, me and Tom have a great chance in South Kildare, and I think no matter what, if we're not running in a certain area and a Nationalist Alliance candidate gets in, we'll be delighted. The more Nationalist candidates, the better. But by adding too many to the pot, you risk nobody getting in, and especially at a late stage like this. So I did message someone today and say, look, I think it should be left where it is, in terms of Kildare South, and that's not me being protective of it. It's the fact that there's no candidate willing to step up, and it looks like they're scouring to find one just for the sake of it. So I'd hope the intentions are good there. And I probably said enough as it is. The Count Corliss from South Kildare, that's one of the 4 seats gone. Mark Hayden, who's been in, has a massive amount of funding and family. That's probably a second seat gone. Will me and Tom take the other 2 seats? Very unlikely. Both of us will. Throw another nationalist candidate on top of that at the last minute. You're stirring up the whole pot for no reason. Well, I won't say for no reason, but I did go push back on it a bit. So I would just hope people stay running and into this for the cause. That's all I'll say.
Look, we might as well be honest. We discussed running paper candidates as a party. IFP talked about it. Will we just run somebody in every constituency just to get the maximum amount of votes? And we made the decision as a party that was not the course we were going to take. That we were going to actually find the most realistic, and most viable candidates in the most realistic and viable areas, with the intention of getting genuine people elected. That's it. We could have gone the other route and had 32 candidates, 40 candidates, 80 candidates, you know what I mean, just to hoover up the most amount of votes to go after the funding. But the decision was made that that's not the reason for doing this. It was the best people in the best locations where there's a realistic shot, you know what I mean. I would hope that other nationalists would look at it from the same point of view. It's not about it's about the whole country, you know what I mean? It's not about one particular party doing well or one particular alliance doing well. It's about us getting as many like-minded people into the Dáil to act as an opposition against what is more than likely going to be a uni-party government for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Glenn.
Intentions. Oh, yeah.
Glenn's at getting on to me there that you can't see his face when the comments come up.
No, it's me and Martin's face. There's no, when Martin was speaking, there was the comment blocks his face, and I was like, it must happen to me as well.
I normally look better behind the comments.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Somebody posted up there. I've already decided on Anthony and Tom in my area, South Kildare, regardless of who else comes along.
Yeah, and that's nice to hear, because at this stage, there's a couple of people who have been thrown in and who have opted out because they're not even from the area. I see that they're canvassing today for someone for South Kildare. They're getting people. They're people from other areas to reach out to anyone in South Kildare. It's not as if they have someone in mind. They're trying to get them through. They just want somebody in, and that's not the way to go about it.
And why do you think that is, Andy? It has to be for the 2%, does it not? You know.
Well, of course, that seems like a bit of the obvious reason, and I'm mindful here as well and saying too much, because look, I've always said that I respect every nationalist candidate who's running and everyone who is running for the cause, because I need to be able to go up and say to them, listen, in the Dáil, I need you to back me on this. So we stand on the same footing here, and in the same regard, the more of us in there, the better, because we're all like-minded and we're all doing it for Ireland. So I'm mindful to say too much, but I will have to make a phone call or two if I do see that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking there at the comments there. What was it said? Anthony from Newbridge. And here, who is the best for Dublin 15, lads and ladies? I ran in Dublin 15 the last time in Ongar for council, but unfortunately I didn't get in. I'm not running there now, so I tell you, the National Alliance have Patrick Quinlan running up here, and also Suzanne Delaney is running as an independent. Suzanne Delaney and what's his name, Stephen Kerr, the two of them are running as independents. Suzanne is running up here, so I'd put me money if I was betting on anyone or if I was voting for anyone, it'd be Suzanne I'd be voting for, and probably National Alliance second. You know what I mean? But any nationalist that's in the area, I'd vote for them down the card. But Suzanne would get my vote up here.
A shout out there as well. This Friday, I think maybe I mentioned already. This Friday in Castledermot, the community centre, I'll be doing a public meeting, 7 p.m. the HSE room. I welcome everybody from Kildare, or even if you're not from Kildare and you want to help out with the campaign, or want to find out more what we're about, I'll be there, and I'll be talking about what I stand for and what I'll be running for. So if there's any questions in your mind, you want to come and find out, you want to come and help out, that's where I'll be.
Yeah. Also, I'm running in the Dublin Midwest, North Clondalkin, Parmastown, Lucan, Clondalkin, Sagard, Rathcoole. I have plenty of time to knock on every house possible, so I'm not really looking for people to drop leaflets because it is beneficial, but I would like people if they can canvass and they can knock at the door, to get in contact with me, because that's what I hope to achieve, to knock on every single door and for people to actually speak to the Irish Freedom Party representatives. So if anybody is out there, I will happily take you onto my team. Thank you.
Someone just posted there, Alliance me whole, vote Pepper, Fitzy and Kaser. That's me, you and Gavin Pepper and Glenn, obviously, and whatever IFP we have. But yeah, I'm running in Dublin Bay North. It's a big constituency, 55,000 households. So yeah, I'll be out canvassing now tomorrow, and I'll be knocking on doors out there as well, Glenn, because I'm well known out there. Like I'm 55, I'm living out there all my life. You know what I mean? And I'd be looking for the vote of, say, guys I went to school and then their kids. You know what I mean? And I've already been told by different households, listen, you have 7 coming out of my house. You know what I mean? You have 6 coming out of my house. And my dad's a taxi driver, and anyone he talks to in the car, I'll be voting for your son. What's his name? And the outfit's name is the same as my name, is Paul Fitzsimons. It's sitting on the dash, and you say, right, I remember that name. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's great. We're getting great feedback already.
What's the a question to both Paul and Glenn? What's the age? And sorry, Anthony as well. What's the age constituency or age demographic in your respective areas?
Oh, well, mine would be. See, there's old. There's 70,
Mixed.
60, 50. It's really mixed, like, you know what I mean? But it's the older crowd that are going to be voting for me, and their grandkids and their great grandkids. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going to get a lot of my votes from. You know?
Look, we have an aging population, and we have a massive emigration issue. What I saw at the local elections, granted, I only got 4 days to canvass, was middle age and later, from 40s upwards at the doors, and that's who I see in the marketplaces as well. Very few 30-year-olds, very few 20-year-olds.
But what I'm saying to you is, when you go to the door and the 50-year-old answers and his kids are still living at home, you know what I mean? Like, I have adult children living at home because they can't afford to live. Are we chasing down that second generation vote that's in the house? Are they registered to vote? He's saying it to their dad and their dad that, you know what I mean? Is your young fella registered to vote as well? Like,
yeah.
How's that now, Glenn? How does that grab you? Is that all right?
Oh, that's better, yeah.
Listen, I have Derek McLaughlin. Derek McLaughlin is coming in to have a chat with us here now, lads. He's running out in, hang on, where are you running? You're running for the Freedom Party in East Dublin. So I'm going to bring Derek McLaughlin in here now just to have a chat with us, and let's see what he has to say. How are you, Derek? How's things?
Well, I'm not Jerry Hutch, but I could be better than Jerry Hutch, I suppose.
How's things? You all right?
I got a new phone yesterday, and it's just connected to the internet just to talk to you. So I have my earphones in. I'm not blowing you out of it or anything now, am I?
No, you're good. We can hear everything. Yeah, where are you running?
I'm running, I think Herman said Dublin East. Like, I ran in the local elections in Balbriggan. You probably remember me, Paul. I was talking to you at one of the protests there in June or July in Dublin. But I was running as an independent for the local council elections, and I was just there at the last minute, just crept in with the edge skin of my teeth, and I was no posters, no leaflets, just cycling around Briggan town 3 times a day with a woman's mountain bike and a loudspeaker and a microphone. And I got
How did you
145
do?
votes.
How many?
145 votes, I was kicked out in the second round. But if I had more behind me with posters and leaflets and stuff like that, and I had more time to get it together, I probably would have got 400 or 500 votes, I suppose, but it still wouldn't have been enough. It would have needed 1,800. But I started at the bottom rung of the ladder. Now, at the second rung of the ladder, I'm after joining your party, and I'm running for the Irish Freedom Party. But we might be a small party now, but just think about it now, in the next 4 or 5 years' time, we'd be the biggest party in the country. So that's the way I look at it. You all stand for the same things I want to stand for. So I am standing for the Irish people of Ireland. Don't want economic migrants. Don't want wind farms on the Irish Sea or any sea around Ireland. Want Ireland to leave the EEC, because I'm a fisherman by trade, fishing all my life, 51 years of age, and I'm fishing since I could walk, you might as well say. So plenty of experience in the marine sector. So I could be your marine and agricultural respondent for the Irish Freedom Party, but a man of knowledge, a man of complete knowledge, and not afraid to speak to anyone. I'll go on any interview anywhere. I'll stand in front of any crowd. Nothing will scare me whatsoever. So
you're in the right party, so you're in good company, so
I'm in good company. Very pleased that I know the other people here that's on the panel never met me, but very pleased to meet all of you.
Yeah,
true Irish men.
Now you have
we do. The most important thing, I think, in the whole country, when it comes voting day, everyone should come out, drop whatever they're doing, to surely spare 20 minutes of their time and go out and vote. That is one really important thing. And I noticed that when I was at polling station the last time, the numbers just ain't coming out. And it's not only that, you'll get these people that's in the pubs drinking, having a great time, and we should do this and should do that, but they still won't bother the rest to register to vote and get out there and vote. That's what's wrong with the people in this country. No matter what nationality you are, come out and vote. But one other thing, one subject too, I heard Herman say it too before and things. This carry on with these migrants coming into the country, and next minute they're allowed, they have all these paperwork and they're allowed to vote. That's not right. Like, here I am, I'm 51 years of age, and I'm my third attempt to get a passport in this country, and still problems. And I'm an Irishman, and here they all coming in from all over the world. Like, why doesn't Ireland look after their own? Like, Ireland look after our own homes. It's not all these other homes from other countries. It's not right.
No, it's not. Should we speak about this every week on we 14,500 of our own here. 4,500 are kids, and they go to bed starving most nights. You know what I mean? That is wrong when they're giving out apartments like Smarties here to foreign nationals, Indians. Like, there was 32,000 Indians or something come in here and got RSI numbers in the last 12 months or something like that. You know, that's just not on. You know what I mean? While their own are starving and living on the streets, you know?
But it's not only that, like, the way it is now is Irish, we're class, second class citizens now. It's the rest of the world gets everything before we get everything. Like, the rest of the world is coming to Ireland and they're getting everything. It's just an absolute joke, like, you know. But no, but even even if we don't get in this time, we just keep. As Nigel Farage said, I was watching one of his videos of your party when it started 6 years ago. I was watching his speeches, a very good speech. He said, "Make plenty of noise, keep at them, and it'll turn around. The people that are in government, they'll only listen to us when they think they're going to lose their job." So look out Helen McAtee and Roderick O'Gorman and Mark. What's the Taoiseach's name? The second in command. I can't think of his name.
Go on, wait, go on, you can get it.
Harris, is it Simon Harris? And
SMH.
Simon Harris. Well, you wouldn't like me to say your thing about him anyway, but I'm lucky to get up on the show. It's an absolute miracle I got up anyway, but you know where I'm coming from anyway.
Yeah, we have Vanessa there coming up there. Vanessa wants to know why you haven't got a passport. Why can't you get a passport?
The reason why so far, like the last time I went to apply for a passport, that must have been 10 years ago and that. But I'm an Irish citizen and I have no photographic ID. But the good news is when I went up for the local elections, I ended up with photographic ID. So now I have photographic ID and now I can get a passport. So that would be the next thing on the list of getting a passport. But what kills me is, why should I get a passport when all these economic migrants come in and get rid of all their details and passports and they get into the country and then they get everything? Really, I should leave the country and come in as an economic migrant and then I'm set up for life.
Yeah, but they won't let you. Gavin Pepper tried it. Gavin Pepper tried it last year. He came in from Brussels and told them, he got to the thing, and he said, "Where's your passport?" He said, "I haven't got a passport." He said, "Immunity." And he said, "Fuck off." He says, "You're Gavin Pepper." Your man knew who he was. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm going to just go with a Sinn Féin thing here. I have a video here from the Late Late Show on Friday night. Did anyone see what he said? Guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till you hear this now.
If you haven't actually seen the show, trust me, you're in for a treat, folks. It's so good. It's full of deception, betrayal, where everybody keeps changing their stories. Well, all we have to do is work out who's telling the truth. So that's.
I'm going to take that down in a minute there. That's not playing for some reason, and everyone has frozen there for some reason.
Us?
Okay, continue on talking there. Talk amongst yourselves there for a minute. I'm just going to drop out here just for a minute just to check.
I saw it play fine, Paul. Did you see it play?
Yeah, I think Paul has been having a bit of issues. If he's won't hear that, I'm going to play it and we can talk about it there. Okay, it's only 28 seconds long.
If you haven't actually seen the show, trust me, you're in for a treat, folks. It's so good. It's full of deception, betrayal, where everybody keeps changing their stories. Well, all we have to do is work out who's telling the truth. So that's. I think that's the first two contestants there. The Sinn Féin traders, the show we're all want to see.
Brilliant. I think he secretly got that in there and it had a bigger meaning than what he. Yeah, he knew it. You know what he was doing.
I like the way Paul and Anthony have kind of made this thing up so they could play it twice.
Yeah.
there's no connection issues.
I see the clip. It was a little long.
Could you play it for the third time, please?
Hey, look, but that's what the reality is. That's what 730 million buys you. You know,
exactly,
and that's the reality. I have no fucking love for Sinn Féin at all. But the very, very simple fact of the matter is, the government are paying the media, and the media are on the attack. They're like Sinn Féin are down, and they're really, really going after them because they know they're the only real. Probably not now, but they would have been the only real proper opposition that could have actually knocked Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael off their perch. So you know what I mean. In fairness, we got the knife in. All they're doing is twisting it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we're the ones who've been highlighting the Sinn Féin hypocrisy, and I still say it. There's still good people in that party, and I'm going to say it again. I always say it. The door is open. If you can't have a coup against your corrupt leadership, then you need to get out and join a nationalist party that actually stands for something and stands for a 32 county Ireland.
I've always said that. It did take me maybe the last 3-4 years to realize that Sinn Féin has absolutely abandoned nationalism. So it's a full-on socialist party, full of woke politicians. So if you do love your people and you do want the best for your people and you feel like you're a nationalist, Sinn Féin is definitely not the way. It's a joke. That's. I mean, it's obvious. It's completely obvious. What more evidence do you want? I was just going to go towards the other comment there about wind farms. Someone mentioned wind farms there a minute ago. Did you just?
I mentioned wind farms, yeah.
Yeah, this is why one of the reasons why the Irish Freedom Party wants to go towards nuclear is because even though renewable energies, and we've had looked at it before in the past, renewable energies is very, very good to like solar and wind. The problem is with it is that wind and solar doesn't last. You have to have windy days and you have to have sunny days. The only way it'll work continuously is if you were able to store the electricity through accumulation. The problem with the accumulation of energy in order to store is that it requires unique resources that are very hard to get. One of them is cobalt, I believe, and that's mined in one place on Earth, and that's the Congo, or not too sure, and it's very scarce. So that's why renewable. If you want to make the argument that renewable energies is good, absolutely, but not in the current time because we can't store the energy in case we may not have windy days. And Germany is the biggest proof for that because they've had they did a whole thing a couple of years ago with solar and wind and all that, and they had no way of storing the energy, and they ran out of energy, surprisingly, and they had to restart their coal and pea factories and everything like that to get their electricity going again because it's not reliable. I really wish I could say wind and solar is the way forward, but it is not. It'll cost you more money than what you believe because we can't store energy. So nuclear energy is something the Irish Freedom Party will pursue because we have our own resources in Donegal and Leitrim, which is deposits of uranium-235, and we have, with the technology out there, we could definitely mine it and definitely start the forced fission reaction in Ireland in order to supply massive amounts of electricity. I don't see why we shouldn't. Every other nation is doing it. Every other nation continues to do it. It's perfectly safe. Anybody that tries to make the claim that, oh, look what happened to Chernobyl, that was due to the reaction, the reactor's design, and that reactor is there's still 30 of those reactors still in operation today, completely safe, and so the ones built in the West will never experience that problem because the amount of money that's necessary to build a nuclear reactor that's safe, it all goes into safety. And I definitely think the Irish Freedom Party can definitely pursue that. What do you think, Martin? Tell me.
So nuclear, I'm 100% behind it. There's been very, very few nuclear accidents, and most of them are explained. One was design flaw, one was earthquake/tsunami. I can never remember what the reason for the one in the States was. But they're very few and far between. The technology is far superior now than it was. The only problem is we didn't do it 20 years ago.
Yes,
and that's the problem. We should have actually started our nuclear program in the 2000s. We've kind of missed the boat. It will be very, very expensive. Look at the Children's Hospital. Would you trust this Irish government to oversee the building and implementation of a nuclear reactor in this country? I would not.
Well, absolutely not. This is where we would, as a party, we would reach out and speak to those in private sectors in other countries which deal with nuclear.
The other thing about the uranium deposits in Ireland, not many people know about those, and don't be surprised if BlackRock buys Ireland tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true.
Well,
Yeah.
interesting saying that. See that a comment there. Industries like pharma are using up all the electricity, not the domestic homes.
Yeah.
I know there is an argument that, you know, this whole shift, is Ireland still trying to get 1 in 3 cars to be electric by 2030, or 1 in 5, was it? But realistically, people are saying that the grid can't handle anything like that.
Yeah.
And even with going with lithium, these lithium mines, just like you talk about the Chinese sweatshops and the conditions there, like there's kids in these lithium mines dying every week. And there's big diesel trucks digging up these things that use, you know, it's complete scam as far as anyone can see.
Well,
And it's not
lithium,
an ethical
lithium
one
is
either.
pretty. We get lithium in Ireland as well. Lithium is everywhere. It's very abundant, I believe. I, I suppose it's probably just the reason why it's probably outsourced to China is probably because they do it cheaper, like everything else. For the what was the thing you said there before, Anthony? I had an answer to it. Sorry, I missed you.
I said about the grid not being able to handle it, and Ireland trying to get 1 in 3 or 5 cars.
Yeah, so
I
I have a big problem with full on electrical cars. You know, this whole nonsense about a full electrical car where you're basically burning the diesel somewhere else and then you're transferring that energy to the car and the car will run off electricity, and saying that's, you know, saving the planet is absolutely ridiculous. That itself, if electricity has to travel and you're burning the energy somewhere else, the electricity is lost due to a thing called entropy, and that's the unpredictable change in the way energy moves. It's lost naturally. The one thing I would support is the hybrids. The hybrids, what they do is they burn their diesel engines, and they take and they manipulate entropy. They manipulate the heat that's generated off the car engines, and they store it in the battery. The hybrids are 100% the way forward in terms of conserving energy, because the electric cars, full on electric cars, they lose energy, and is a complete waste. But if the Irish Freedom Party does have a stance on it, electric cars are 100% the way forward for that.
I'm actually, Glenn. Funny enough, I actually did purchase a hybrid
Put it up.
last week, as a 2-liter petrol, and it just switches over. You know,
Martin
when
Murphy,
you're,
sorry,
coasting.
Martin Murphy does not look like a garden gnome. Who
I'm,
posted that?
I'm about the same height as well.
Sorry, you were saying there, Anthony. or we were
Sorry,
really-
Anthony, go on.
No, you're all right, Paul. That's the third time, Paul.
Tell
Okay, you
them
only
to
get
be
3
quiet.
shots at that. You know? No, I just said that there is, you know, like you said, I don't think all electric is by any means a good solution. The hybrids I could get more behind. You know, we use batteries and lithium batteries in our phones and all this kind of thing. It's a 2-liter petrol engine, but it switches over, and it actually is quite economical for that stance.
It
But
is.
these all
Absolutely.
electric houses and cars and
Yeah.
this insistence is a worry for mine, because I believe there's just a bit of a control element there that if you're not complying down the line, they can switch it off. Now that's going down the rabbit hole a little bit, but also when we're all controlled by, I see Martin's in agreement with me that you know that that is a form of control and a form of currency in the future. So I do think that they're trying to look. You've seen the bill this week. They're trying to take sorry, it's not the bill necessarily, but they're trying to take the stoves out of people's homes. Like, no houses now are built with fireplaces, and this is the self-sufficiency thing of taking it from home. They also were talking about chickens, and that they might not be, you know, it might not be safe to have your own because of Lyme's disease and all those different types of things. You know, they're gearing you towards being completely reliant on their systems and their big machine. And if you step out of line too much, and they are doing this in other countries at the
Turn it off.
moment, yeah, turn it off. That's it. Turn off your car, turn off your house, turn off your heating. And we don't know what that will go to if the economy does collapse like we're looking at, and they try to introduce some form of, like, we're halfway there with Revolut, and you know what I mean? There's nobody. I went on a stags last year. Not one person that stag had cash in their pocket. It's all too easy to tap. So it's I think they're gearing us up. It's a soft approach, but a lot of people will fall for that, and there's a lot of elderly people who rely on the stove because they cannot get these new grants and renovations. So we have to be wary of these kind of things.
Also, I just want to go back with the electrical cars. Another reason why I'm not in favor of the full-on battery electrical cars is that if you crash electrical car, which is a lithium battery, if you crash the car and it's raining, lithium is highly explosive when it touches water. So if you crash a car and it's raining, the car is not going to catch fire. It's going to explode and kill you. I think it's just highly dangerous device. I'm not a fan of them whatsoever, and I think if anyone wanted to go towards saving energy and green,
Do you want to hear?
that,
Do you want to hear another thing about electric cars? And this is to hybrids as well. There's a huge weight differential in a combustion car and an electric car. Electric cars are way fucking heavier, and the weight is distributed differently to a normal car. So your tires for your electric car are twice the price of. You can't put normal tires onto most electric cars, especially the bigger SUV ones. You have to put certain types of tires on, and the tires wear differently because of the weight of the car and the distribution of the weight. Like I can tell you for a fact, I know somebody who had to spend €1,800 putting 4 tires on an EV. That's fucking expensive, like, So people don't think about these costs. The other thing as well, if you break down in an EV, your local mechanic can't help you.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick as well. You just said there the car is heavier, so you are using more energy. It doesn't matter if it's electricity or gas. Energy is all the same. You're using more energy to move something that's heavier. So technically, you were burning more diesel to produce that electricity to get into those batteries to move a car that's heavier. Surprisingly enough, those that are actually those that are out there that believe in conserving energy will actually recommend for you to use a car that's lighter, that has a less tank full of gas, because if the tank is heavier, then you will have to burn more diesel in order to move your heavy tank around. It's the same principle. It's a no-brainer. The electric cars are an absolute gimmick. It's a money grabbing scheme telling you that this is the way forward in order to save energy. It's not. You're using more energy.
Yeah, we should be having a movement of never buy an electric car. And we just won't talk to you anymore. We won't be friends.
I watched a video last week from a mechanic. It was put up on TikTok, okay? And this electric BMW was new enough. It was 2.1D or a 2.2D, and BMW wanted $6,000 to fix it, right? And your man brought it to this mechanic, and it only cost 90 quid for the part that he needed. It was a new battery that it needed. The battery, something wrong with the battery, and it messed up the whole electrics on it. And when they put it on the diagnostics, they came out and said, "Oh yeah, this is going to cost $6,000," and your man fixed it for 90 quid. It's a money making scam. That's all it is. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
There's a comment there. Sorry to pull it back a bit. Someone said, "Don't for Claire." I was talking about a story from City West earlier. Do you mind if I jump back into that for a second, because she gave me the thumbs up. The girl
Go ahead.
This is someone who has kind of wants to be kind of a point person for City West, and there's a lot of stuff going on there at the moment. She was walking down this week and she saw, I think Wednesday, maybe Thursday, she had seen that there was an elderly gentleman she knows from the area, was accompanied by a big foreign fellow, and he had it looked like he had a black eye or a bruised eye, was sobbing, and she went over to approach and see what was going on, and he said, "Nothing, I'm okay." And they went back to the house, and she saw the foreign chap push him into the house and slam the door. She rang the Gardaí because she thought it was very suspicious looking, and asked them to check it out or whatever else. They said they went to the door, and in fairness, they did go to the door, and he said he's fine. He obviously was a little shaken, but she asked, "Was there anyone else in the house?" And he said, "Well, we couldn't. He wouldn't let us in." There's a man who's quite vulnerable, and something's going on, but the guards, can't reach him. Who does he turn to? These are the kind of vulnerable people that you need to give help to. The crime rates are going up in these areas, and there has to be something in place that people can support them. Are elderly and vulnerable. Not just our elderly. There's plenty of women in these situations too, and getting a lot of messages about this. But that's just a story from this week.
Well, what you're talking about there, I'll give you one now. On Friday, was it Friday evening? I'm in a group, the Coolock Says No, the original group, the ones, we have the injunction case going on and the whole lot, and one of the girls' sisters got robbed up at Priorswood. She goes there every other day she goes to Kevis to get stuff and get cigarettes and whatever she has to get. And on Friday evening, she came out and there was 2 foreign guys attacked her. One got in front of her and asked her for cigarettes. She said she had no cigarettes, and the other fella tried to rip the bag off her. Okay? She shouted, she screamed. Now, this girl she has a bad leg. She took a stroke last year. She's very vulnerable, you know what I mean? And she reckons that these were watching her because she goes there every day, you know what I mean? Every day she gets up there, she gets what she has to get, and she leaves again. But as I said, just outside Priorswood shops, and she started screaming, and a guy that was out jogging heard her, ran over and stopped. He ran away the whole lot, but went to the police, and the police said, come back down on Wednesday. What sort of shite is that, like? You know what I mean? What, are they allowed rob people till Wednesday until the police get, you know, it's gone ridiculous, like, you know what I mean? It really has. But I said I'd mention that now tonight, you know what I mean? And I put up a thing here 2 weeks ago as well. Do you remember about Baldoyle School, the school in Baldoyle locking its gates? Well, on Friday at 2 o'clock, there was a thing sent around saying that there was men outside the school taking pictures of kids. And the principal put this up, please be vigilant, and this, that, and the other. This is shocking what we have to put up with now. This never happened before. You know what I mean? This is only, and it's all foreigners. I don't care what anyone says. Call me racist, call me what you want. They're all foreigners. And that's who's doing this. You know what I mean? So I call them out. I don't care. Even if they're not foreigners, I'll still call them out. You know what I mean? But it's been proven now that these were foreigners that are doing this. They're taking pictures of kids that are walking by and they're videoing the kids. It's gone horrendous now. You know what I mean? It really has. Women can't walk the streets. Children can't walk the streets. My own mother the other night was walking to her friend's house and somebody pulled in a car beside her and she didn't shit herself. She had the baby with her. She has me nephew. He's only 5. And she thought they were coming to grab the child. But it turned out your man was a carer for somebody along the way. And all these carers now are black now or Indian. They're not Irish people anymore because they haven't got Irish carers anymore. And it's just gone ridiculous. Like, and my ma thinks that way now. She's worried sick. She's thinking the kids are going to get robbed or this is going to happen because she's seeing it now. She's seeing all the like I send them the stuff every day because people need to be woke up to this sort of shit. Like, you know what I mean? People are sitting with their head in the sand, like thinking, that's not happening. That you're a conspiracy theorist. Listen, these things are happening and they're happening all over the country. Just because the guards aren't reporting on it or not giving you a pulse report or whatever else, that doesn't mean they're not happening. You know what I mean? Sorry, Anthony, go ahead. Sorry, Orla, how are you? You're only coming in there. How's things?
Not too bad. Sorry, I didn't realise I was. Am I an hour late, Martin?
No, you're not. Someone keeps posting up there, Martin. I'm going to bed. I didn't realise it was 5 to 12. This is now while we're on this, okay?
If you get it, you get it. It's as simple as that.
While we're on this now, I'm just going to go with. Martin has a new podcast and he's going to be doing on a Friday night. So I'm just going to go with this here, Martin. This is your little promo. So we'll go with this 5 to midnight. Oh. Hold on, why is that not playing? It's because we have 6 there, isn't it? Hold on.
Paul, that is the...
Time is a commodity. It's the only commodity of any real significance. On Minutes to Midnight, we're going to spend some time trying to solve the world's woes one conversation at a time. If you are left, right, up, down, inside out, or even backwards, then you are welcome. Nothing changes without conversation. So join me as a guest or just eavesdrop for a bit. If you have an idea to sell, perhaps you're an election hopeful, maybe you just want to have a good rant. No subject is off limits and nothing is taboo. Again, if you're brave enough. The show will be going out live 9:30 on Friday evenings. You can direct message me on X at RuggerMurph27. You can contact me through YouTube at RuggerMurph27, on Instagram at RuggerMurph80. Find me on Facebook, Martin Murphy, and on TikTok at Martin Murphy36. I look forward to speaking to you. Thank you.
Now, I hope that explains for everyone what that was all about. Orla's gone there.
Who designed it? Who designed it? Was that you, Martin?
Martin, of course.
You must be a fan of Paulo, are you?
I did it last night or the night, but yeah, about an hour.
But you must be a fan of Fallout. The Fallout intro is the first part of it.
I only copped that after I downloaded the engine. I was just looking for a black and white or retro looking one, and I copped after I downloaded the image that it was Fallout. But no, not a fan, not an intention. It just fits with the concept. Yeah, look, it's going to be a one-to-one conversation, Joe. It's basically a conversation people get to eavesdrop on. First guest, I won't say who yet, but we're going to be talking things, all things Dundrum, County Tipperary.
Brilliant.
And because there's some news coming out of that, and just to refresh everybody, a lot of the things haven't gone away, if you know what I mean. They've just kind of gone out in the media cycle. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna have some people on that you're not gonna like, because I said left, right, up, down, backwards, forwards. I'm talking to absolutely everybody. So
sorry, Martin. Sorry. I have to ask. I think I know who exactly you will have on. Yeah, look at the face on him. I know exactly who. Jesus Christ. You're going to have Matt on, is it? Actually, it is.
Don't be talking out of school, you. Will you? Stop, will you? You're spoiling it.
No
spoiler alerts on here, lads.
If it is fair play to him, I will.
No. Absolutely not. There's nothing confirmed there. But everybody would have seen who I've been trolling with the clock on.
Paul, do you have sorry Martin, Paul, just you have that number handy for someone's about to ring in about something happening in City West there.
Yes,
just in case they do. Sorry, Martin, go ahead.
No, we're quite. Yeah.
I'm quite excited about this.
There's the number there. The number is 089 203 1521. If you contact me on that number on WhatsApp, do you want to come on, do they, and talk? Is that what you're talking, Anthony?
I sent that number to them. There's some news from
cool.
City
Yeah,
West.
well, I have the phone here, and I also have it up here on the laptop. So, yeah, that's no problem.
How do I sign up,
Martin, I hope that I'm written down as a guest down there somewhere. I'd love to come.
Yeah,
down.
no, absolutely. Look, I'll be honest.
Anthony, back in line here. I asked first. Sorry. Yeah. 2 seconds too late.
Okay, so you have to realize that the concept. It's under an hour. It's 55 minutes. It's very, very, very brief. It's a neutral environment. It's not a friendly environment. So it's a case of if you may be challenged, okay, and it's a conversation. It's not an interview, and I depending on what's rattling around my brain, we mightn't even talk politics. I could decide I want to talk about fishing or whatever.
If we want to talk about fishing, I'll have to be there as well.
Yeah, well, I you see, Derek, how you doing? Well, you see, I intentionally won't ask you about fishing because you know about fishing. The whole point is to.
But everyone else in the country doesn't know about fishing. They have a lot to learn, like, you know.
Good. There's a good point. You're scheduled in. Look, if it goes well and I can get set up in my other location, I'll try and do two nights a week. But we'll start with Friday. We'll see how it goes. I'm very interested to talk to the person. We call them a person. And once it is on Friday, and then in the upcoming weeks, like I said, it's not who you think, Glenn, by the way. There's just some.
I would actually love to see it regardless, and I know you're a respectable man that you would even show him great respect on the show and to have.
Of course, you would. Actually, look, Matty, you normally watch. If you're there, you're more than welcome to come on. I might start following you and send you a DM and slap you.
You won't talk to me.
No, but I'll be honest to you because and like I said, sometimes he does watch in the show. I'm fascinated by him because he's the same age as my eldest son, and they actually couldn't be two more different human beings. And I'm actually just fascinated to what creates that Matthew and then what creates my son. You know what I mean? Who's like I said, they're just chalk and cheese, and I that's all I'm interested in. That's the only conversation I want to have. You can leave politics and personal opinion and stuff out of it. Like it's just and not be smart conversation. We have to talk to everybody because at the end of the day, we are all human, and we all share a common space. And it has to be, you know what I mean. Even if they're difficult conversations, like well, we're sending you home, but we have to be able to give a valid reason as to why you're sending home. So we still have to communicate with
Yes.
people. We're asking to leave, or we're asking to do X, Y, and Z, or the people we're saying no, you're not coming in here. We still have to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And fairly openly and honestly. So that's the whole concept of the show. The whole thing about time as well is time. I really believe is a commodity. I don't care about money. I don't care about things. I don't care about. I just don't care. The only thing I know I don't have a lot of, and none of us do, is time. So you use it wisely. And that's why I'm keeping it as short as possible, because I don't want big, long, sprawling 3-hour conversations. It's literally 55 minutes, and if it's mid-sentence, gone, cut. That's it, done and dusted. So you're all more than welcome, and like I said, I'll reach out to people and get people to come on. But like I said, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be an interesting look into all the different flavors of person that's out there. Hopefully,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm going to just run with a quick video here, okay, of a lady talking to Philip Dwyer in that loan the other day. Okay, just wait to hear what this lady has to say.
I don't think the same fear was there 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I just do not like the narrative that's been pushed on us here by Mr. O'Gorman and Miss McEntee, etc., etc.
What you're speaking here is just basic common sense, basic preservation instincts that, this is just not good, and it's liable to blow up, and it has blown up in certain areas. We're hearing daily reports now nearly of criminal activity by these non-nationals who are coming in. Because simply, if you're going to be a criminal from abroad and you hear about a place like Ireland who won't need documents of you or your previous records, you're going to flock here.
Oh, completely. And I'll tell you, here's an example. I was on a flight back to Shannon from Marseille last May, 15 months ago, and there was a guy sitting 2 seats in from me. He was one of these guys, and he jumped off the plane. He started to talk to me as if we had had conversation for the whole flight, and I glanced over. I had my passport out. I was going up to airport police. He had something that looked like it was torn out of a notebook. He still waltzed by me when I was paying for my car park and lit a cigarette. He had told me he was going to sleep under the stars that night and visit the city of Shannon the following day. The city of Shannon.
That's what they call open borders, really, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah, so we don't even have police who are watching us.
Grania, fair play to you for speaking out, and very brave, and that's why we need people articulate, smart people like yourself to stand up against this, and thanks a million. Well done.
Yeah, that was a lady in that loan Philip was talking to the other day. Like this, as I said, this is going on everywhere. You know what I mean? They're coming in with just little slips of paper and walking straight through. There's no even immigration at any of the airports anymore. You know what I mean? They were hiding their passports. Now they're not even bringing passports. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Sure, they don't care. Why would they?
Exactly.
They're getting away with it, so it doesn't bother them. You know what I mean?
I sent you the clip, Paul.
Yeah, I have it there now.
This is the Shin Nadina City West point person who's on the ground there. And by the way, that's what we're looking for. County people in every single county to be able to call this stuff out so we can verify it and put it there. That is a big part of what the Shin Nadina initiative stands for, being a watchdog that people are failing to be.
Is it a voice clip, Anthony? Yeah?
Just a voice clip, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Go on, keep talking there for a minute. Go on.
No, that's Martin. You might want to come in on it there as well. That's all I was saying. That this is exactly what we need, and we need these things verified by people. That when there's stuff going on in people's communities, and there's plenty of it. I just mentioned about Kildare. It's at a 20-year high record crime rate. When these things are going on, we need to find out why, regardless of who's involved in it. If there's a crime spree of any proportion that's not being dealt with, we need to find out. Or any SPHE curriculums in certain schools, whatever it is, that we're all standing for the same things. It needs to be reached out to us. We verify it. We'll put it out for everybody else to call a stance of solidarity. Get mass mobilization of people there to stand in strength.
There's also a layer of protection offered by allowing Shin Nadina to put it out, because as we've seen earlier this week, an individual was raided by the guards, had all his devices taken because he shared a clip. Now, I've been in contact with the guy, and I'm sure maybe one or two others have. But it's something we'll discuss again when it settles down. But there's a certain amount of safety in passing information on to Shindadina, because we'll verify it and then we'll put it out as an organization. No individual can be, there's no individual to come after, if you know what I mean. So, like I said, it's a case of, if you have sensitive information, give it to us. We won't put anything out unless we verify it. But once it's verified, it goes out there, and it cannot be traced back to the original person. So basically, what I'm saying to you is, if there's whistleblowers out there, if there's people who are sitting on information but are afraid of being connected to the information that comes out, we'll take that burden on.
Okay, I'm just going to play this here. I had the stream here to share in your audio. Okay.
Hi, Anthony, I'm listening to you there. So the issue I had with this was, there was a black man, as I said, walking down the road.
Can you hear it? No.
You have to make it, Paul.
Okay, hold on.
And by the way, she's obviously speaking. She's allowed me to play this. She wants this clip played. She's happy enough to play it. But
okay, well, I'm going to play it through the mic then, right? I'm going to play it through here.
Hi, Anthony, I'm listening to you there. So the issue I had with this was, there was a black man, as he said, walking down the road behind this elderly fella, and it was the elderly fella who looked like he was crying and had a red mark on his face, and I was with my son. So as they were walking by me, I just kind of stood in front of the older man, and I said, "Are you all right there?" And he wouldn't really look at me, and off he went. And as they got to the door, myself and my son had turned back to see what was going on, and he pushed the old man kind of in and shut the door behind him. So I rang 112. They said they'd be out, and we were kind of waiting around, and nothing was happening, and they were finding it very difficult to get the address right and the air code and stuff, and sure, we were panicking. So I started walking, on towards the two kids with me, so I couldn't really stand there, so I kept going, and I bumped into a guard on a bike, and he said, "I'll go down." So he went down, he had a look, he rang me back, and what really got me was, he said, "Yeah, no, I knocked on the door," gave me the description, definitely the same guy. And he said, "No, there's nobody there. Your man says he wasn't out today." And he left it at that. And I was saying, "But he was out today. I saw him out today. Or how would I have known to even send it to his door? And if he's not admitting that he was out today, how can you believe anything else that he says?" Now, this old man was shuffling. That's the way he walked. He was a really elderly man. And I just feel that the lack of care and the lack of duty shown by the guard that day was just horrendous.
Can't hear it. Oh.
You can't hear anything.
No, I can't hear it now.
Just a second ago, you had to drop the phone down, I think.
Was that man's cry for help, because he knew that the guy knew he had been out that day. And I just
it's gone.
Gone.
You would break into somebody's home in the middle of the night and wake their kids.
I don't know why. Can you hear it? Can you hear me?
You can't do it for an elderly man that's stuck. And just to touch on City West, Sagan is such a small village, Raccoon is such a small village. I have
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. She just went very low. You could barely hear her.
Okay, hold on now.
I just see.
that day. It was just horrendous. There couldn't have been anything going on in the house, and he just took that little kind of, "Oh, hell, you've been out today," you can answer, which to me was that man's cry for help, because he knew that
Second one. If someone could just explain what's going on, because I'm
she tried to ring the number in, but there was no answer. She says that 08. Anyway, look, I kind of
no. She sent it to me. I have the audio clip. She sent the audio clip to me.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, but I'm not saving it there now. But it doesn't seem to want to play through the. See, what's happening is this is set to go through the earphones on the mic, and when you play this here, you're probably only getting the echo from the what you call it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone could explain the situation, so our viewers will know what's happening.
From what I get from it, Anthony, you know all the story. You go ahead.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned it earlier on a bit there, where she was walking down around City West with her kids, and she saw that black fella with the elderly man, and she checked if he was all right, because he looked visibly upset, and he said he was fine, but she saw with the child the man push this elderly chap into his house and close the door, and she rang the guards, and the guards went to do something, went to knock in. He said he was fine, but they wouldn't they asked to go in, and he said no, and he wouldn't let them in. She did try to. She called by herself the following day, to see if he was there, to see if he dropped a leaflet in. I think the daughter was there. She talked about it and said he was fine or whatever. But it seems like he's just someone who's very much afraid of the situation, afraid to, there's something going on there, and it's very suspicious, and she's keeping an eye on it. There's stories like this. I've heard stories from Nina and from Carlo and a lot of stories like this, local stories that are coming through, that probably need to be highlighted. But who does that man run to, if the guards aren't helping them out? And I think that's what might need to be put in place if we're having skyrocketing crime rates and there's no investigation about it. There has to be support there for these people.
Yeah.
Someone's asking there, Anthony, Shinadina, or what's that?
Shkian Nashunta. That's Justin Barrett's Shkian Nashunta.
Oh, this is the National Shield, sorry.
Yeah, so there's I'll take this one. There's a place for every single organization in the nationalist movement. The Shin Nadina is going to be. Look, if you want to know what Shkian Nashunta is, you go onto the website, go onto the Clonaireann website, and you can find out yourself what they are. But there's a place for everybody, and there's an appetite for everything. So more power to them. Shin Nadina is going to be a network of people and information. It's going to be getting information from source, from, I'll use the word whistleblowers again, people on the inside, getting information, verifying the information, and then sharing it with the public, everybody. We're giving the information for this isn't going to be monetized. We are literally going to get information from a network of people, and we are going to give it out to everybody to share and show to the normies and the asleep. That's the biggest thing. In time, we will have bodies, we will have people. Anthony's doing fantastic work in getting point people for every county. Look, the reality is it's impossible to go to every protest, every plantation. Some people have put in massive amounts of time, effort, money, miles to attend these things, but you know what I mean. It's there's only so much everybody can do. So we're going to try and build networks, county networks. So if there is a plantation in your, let's just give Athlone as an example, that you can get bodies from Athlone and maybe the surrounding counties to be a wall of protection. For whatever issue is. It doesn't have to be IPAS. It can be anything. It can be local crime. It can be you need to protest the council office. You need to whatever issue is happening in your area. We want to highlight it. We want to share the information, and wherever possible, we want to get bodies there with numbers and with cameras, and basically, like a non-propagandized media network is probably the best thing. Look, we might as well just say what it is. We're going taking over the airwaves for information. You're going to get true, verified information. It's going to be shared to everybody on every account, and all we'll do is encourage people to share it out more, so more people can say it. And like I said, if we can get bodies on the ground, we will get bodies on the ground.
Okay, can I just jump in there for a minute? Because that girl's actually been on to me there now. I've been speaking to this girl the last week or two. She's brilliant. She told me what happened was that she seen the guy following the man into the house. Okay, she seen it herself. She witnessed it herself. And when she told the guard went down and knocked on the door. And the man said, no, I haven't been out all day. And what she's trying to say is they can pull you out of your bed at all hours of the morning, but they can't go in and do a welfare check. Like, that man was obviously under duress. And if your man was in the house, he was probably a knife behind. Listen, I'm not saying, but this girl is 100% that she's seen your man going into the house. You know what I mean? That she knows that there was somebody in the house. She called down the next day and your man's daughter was there, didn't really want to talk about it. And she's called down since. And the man is not there anymore. So this is what she's trying to get across. The people are being followed. And like old people like that are terrified because of this. And obviously this man has been moved out of the house because of this. You know what I mean? So that's what she rang me there to tell me exactly what happened. You know what I mean? So if there is anyone else that's going through this, or any of this stuff is happening in your area, you need to contact Shin and Nadina and let us know. And we can get help to you.
We know. Sorry, what's the address? Sorry, where is it?
It's up by City West.
Up by City West.
She knows the address. She has the address. She gave the address to the guards, and the guard was on a bike, And he just went down, knocked on the door. The man said, "No, I haven't been out all day." And she said to the guard, "But like, I know you've been out. I know the man has been out. I seen him. I seen this black guy following him." No, well, he's at the saying. So this is what she's saying. Why can't he just go in and do a welfare check? You know what I mean? Why just walk away and say, "No, this didn't happen," or, this is what she's trying to get across now, that this did happen. But the guard said, "No, I have to take his word for it." But if someone is standing behind the door with a knife up to you, you know what I mean? You're not going to say anything. You're
Or,
going
or
to
had or had one of the families hostage behind.
You don't know. You don't know. This is what I'm saying to you. But as she said, the guards will kick in your door at all hours of the morning and raid your house and take you out of bed, but they won't do a simple welfare check. It's gone ridiculous, like.
And Paul, like, the other thing is this man could have access to the house. I mean, if this is an elderly man, how do you know that this other man isn't like a carer or somebody in for home help or something like that and could be intimidating him? Like, you don't know.
Exactly.
That could be going on as well. You know what I mean? He could have been hired to help him and, something untoward go on instead.
Yeah, exactly. This could be going on all around the country. I don't know. You know what I mean? But fair play to that girl. She's vigilant. She's watching everything. And she's been in contact with me a few times in the last 2 weeks. And she's been telling me different things about City West and everything else, what's going on. Like, it's like a military base up there. You know what I mean? It's gone ridiculous. Like.
But do you remember that video? Do you remember the video that went out there a few weeks ago of that elderly lady? And she let the foreign man into her house. I remember he robbed her bag and it was all recorded.
That's it there. And here, someone just I spoke to a carer yesterday. She said the black carers are robbing the old people blind. Yeah. That happened in Cabra actually 2 weeks ago. Apparently he's been arrested and everything. I don't think he even was a carer. He just went in dressed as a carer with a badge on, and the woman let him in. So the woman was, I'm not saying like she was doddery. She was old. She probably had dementia. You don't know what's wrong. But as my mother said to me last night, there's no Irish carers anymore. They're all black or they're all Asian or like there's no Irish carers anymore. I don't know why.
They're cheaper. They're cheaper, Paul. In social care, they've been all brought in because they're cheaper.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cheap labour.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For the rest of the world, not for the Irish.
Yeah. But this may be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony, what's that one there? Tipperary calling out the traders. What was that one? You put that up. I didn't put that up.
Yeah, that is one of the lads down Tipperary walking down the street, and he's kind of calling out what everything. I'm just trying to see where that is in itself.
It's on the bottom there. It's on the bottom.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. Do you want to play a few minutes of it?
I'm going to play a few minutes of it there, and we'll come back and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Marketplace in Clonmel, County Tipperary. It is a street consisting of 21 units and buildings. On the 3rd of March 2012, this street was bought for €930,000. The buyer, Remcall Limited, make their money from housing refugees and migrants. They have properties all over the country, including the controversial Crown Paints building in Coolock. Remcall's business model is very simple. Buy buildings at a knockdown price, sit on them for a while, then renovate them to a certain standard and put in as many refugees and migrants as they can. This has been their model for the last 4 or 5 years. They make about 32 million a year from this model. Who are Remcall? Remcall are Niall Collins, Melanie McGarry, Paul Collins. We have Melanie McGarry's husband, Peter McGarry. You have Christopher Collins, a brother of Paul and Niall Collins. You also have Alex and Isla Jeffers. These are the people who make up all the Remcalls, of which there are seven Remcall businesses. They also own other businesses called Townbee Limited, which is controlled by Paul Collins and Melanie McGarry. The majority of these people are tax exiles who live in Switzerland. They don't pay any tax in the Republic of Ireland. Concerning this development in Marketplace, they have applied to construct offices and apartments. Now anybody that's from Clonmel will tell you they don't need offices in Clonmel. There's offices that are closed and aren't being used, so why construct more? The Planning Commission was given the green light to Remcall by the Tipperary County Council on the 5th of August 2024. And there is work going on behind the scenes most weekdays. Remcall had a similar development in the Rock Quarter in County Leitrim, where they originally applied to construct offices, a cafe and apartments, and then a couple of months later applied to change some of the planning in order to construct apartments to house refugees. This is the entity that is now in Clonmel. Time will tell what happens with this street. People should be mindful of the fact that we already have an iPass centre located a couple of 100 yards from this street in the Hearns Hotel, which currently houses 84 economic migrants. And then you have the Hayward Road modular site, located about 2 kilometres northeast of this street, which is currently costing the taxpayer upwards of 40 million plus euros. On the 2022 census, Clonmel was listed as the oldest town in Ireland, with an average age of 40.8 years and a population of 18,000. This is the data the government are following when they decide to put these iPass centres into towns. So Clonmel can expect a lot more of these type of developments.
Yeah. Okay.
Towns are being ruined, really.
Yeah, I just talked to this Town B and Remcall. That's the same crowd that has the Crown Paints. Now, the Crown Paints, there's an injunction in there now for Thursday the 24th. I can't really say too much about it, but Paul Collins, he's one of the directors there. He's not the owner. The owner actually lives in Switzerland. And there was 2 or 3 of the names they mentioned there. Imam Gary, I think he lives in Switzerland. But there was other ones they mentioned that I think wasn't, do you remember James Conway had the run-in with your man and he did whatever to the house or whatever like that? He was one of them. He took out an injunction, a protection order against James a week after that happened. So he's definitely part of this, you know what I mean? So they're all interlinked, you know what I mean? You've Remcall, you've Town B, but what they're doing is they're not even getting the contracts for these. They're getting the places ready before they actually get the contracts. They've no contracts for this. And this is what's happening. Now, O'Gorman will be up on whatever Thursday. I think the superintendent. I think there's a few of them up. There's a lot of people up. As I said, I can't really comment much on it because it's an ongoing thing. But Thursday is D-Day for that now, and we should know Thursday evening how this is going to go, whether we get the injunction or not. You know.
I'll tell you something interesting about that street. So I moved to Clonmel in 2000. And I actually lived in Clonmel, and there's a restaurant there at the end of that street. Kind of, it goes up from the main street, kind of turns on to another. It's massive, that area, and that was actually the kind of bustling centre of Clonmel for the Tesco was kind of a bit away from it. There was a big car park, and your Tesco bring people into town, and then in that area, it's gone back a while now. There was an Extra Vision on the corner. There was a big pharmacy. Then there was a Super Quinn. There was Peter Marks. There was a couple of other small shops and cafes and stuff like that. But every single unit was full. So in the space of 20, absolutely full and bustling and doing good business. And in the space of 24 years, it's become completely derelict. And like I said, the Super Quinn building is massive, and all of those other buildings are like you couldn't get over. The camera doesn't do justice to how big that area is, and if they have their hands in it, like Clonmel is already in trouble with the modular unit site and the Hearns Hotel site, and there's about 4 or 5 other smaller iPass units in around the Clonmel area. But if that is turned into international protection, that's just. It's like the amount of people you could fit in there is just, it's scary. It's absolutely terrifying. And then you'll have a ghettoized street, if you know what I mean, that people won't be able to walk down. It's not really safe to walk down now as it is, because there's nothing happening there. Like, you know what I mean? At night, I'd be wary about walking down that area of Clonmel. But it's crazy. Just like fucking, it was 24 years ago, it was absolutely bustling. Every single unit was filled. There was a shop, there was businesses, there was an electrical shop as well. There was there was some amount of stuff in that area. And fucking, there's nothing now. It's completely fucking empty.
Yeah. Well, I can say now, this is actually something I can speak on because my son is in LIT Clonmel and we cannot get him any accommodation. We've been looking for months and there is nothing out there. Considering there is a college there that is part of Limerick University, you'd think they would put up something for the students and try and sort them out. But no. So my son, thank God he's in his final year, cannot get anywhere to live. He's going from one house to another, living with friends, because there is nowhere for him to go. And then they're going to turn around and put iPass in. It's an absolute and utter disgrace.
Would he be willing to change his name and we can stick him into Hearn's Hotel?
Yeah, Abdullah.
Oh, well, you see, his surname is very Irish.
Abdullah Donoghue. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's
It's an absolute and utter disgrace. It's an utter joke that there's a college there and students cannot find somewhere to stay. And yet this nonsense is going on.
But I remember Gavin telling me a story on the show here. It was this year, I think, or last year, or whatever. And he told me that there were students in his daughter's college or somewhere he knows that they were coming over here on student visas or whatever, and it was costing them whatever to do the student visa to stay in whatever the accommodation was. So instead, they went home and came back in as refugees and then registered as students, and everything is paid for. They're living over in Donnybrook there in some hotel in Donnybrook, and everything is paid for. So they don't pay student fees anymore. You know, isn't that crazy? Like, and our own kids can't get into these places. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. Like, you know,
and can't get Susie grants and can't get anything yet. Yeah, absolutely shocking.
Well, the two big buildings in Balbriggan now that the last year or say 2 years, the old convent building that's beside the train station, that's been derelict now the last 30 years, and that looked like that's been done up and been changed into flats. It wouldn't surprise me that's going to be an iPass centre. And the old Tesco building in Balbriggan, those rumours earlier in the year that was going to be an iPass centre, and it was set alight a few times, but it was only a small burning. But I've noticed now in the last few weeks there's a for sale sign in that building, so your man must have changed his mind. But it definitely looks like the convent building is going to be one, and it's a fairly big building. And the joke about it is it's overlooking the convent girls in the new building. Like that shouldn't be allowed.
No, is that Tesco's the one out by the graveyard there? Is it?
No, that's the new Tesco's. The old Tesco's is down near the harbour across.
Oh, I know it.
Casino.
It's the Tesco Express, is it?
It used to be Queensward, then it was Tesco's. Those are old Tesco's. But it's a big site, like, you know, like it'd house a lot of people if they did go ahead with it. But it's happening everywhere in Ireland. It's just a corrupt government and corrupt people. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, we need to vote them out, Derek. That's what we need to do. Get rid of
Well,
them.
as Martin said at the beginning of the show, we need people in with a bit of empathy, a bit of compassion, who care about their own people, you know, and there's where your difference is. These other ones don't. All they care about is money and power. And that's what's going on. They don't care about the Irish people.
And I'm just looking at that. Look at some of the students. Some of the students are the ones who are saying refugees welcome here, and it's true. You know what I mean? It is. It's true. Sorry, Derek. Go ahead.
But the way I see it is, like we've been saying it in our marks and everything. Ireland is full. It is full. We've enough to look after our own. We don't want to be looking after the rest of the world. Like it's just gone crazy. But look at the way the UK is in Scotland and France. It's just a joke. Like we're ending up the same. But look how many extra people we have here the last year and a half. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. So there's 30,000 Indians that are coming in, and they've all got RSI numbers. There's a pub up here in Ongar, right? And there's 5 Indians after taking it over. Now, we were told on the show months ago, there was a girl sent us in a thing that they're getting tax breaks and they're getting grants and everything else. Like, where does 5 Indians get the money to take over the pub? You know what I mean? You know, it's crazy.
Nursing homes about Brigham. The majority of the staff in the 2 nursing homes is Indians, and now they're housed in the town. Like they're ending up part of the community. They're here for good. Like to them, Jesus, all their Christmases has come at once.
Yeah, but kids can't.
It's crazy.
Kids can't get Sure, there's Irish kids can't get places in schools now because of it. You know what I mean? It's gone crazy, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know kids that didn't get into a school over here beside me, you know what I mean? That because of the influx of migrants coming into the area, you know, it's gone crazy.
I often cycle down the main street. I was heading down to the harbour on the bike, and it just happened to be the time they'd be coming out with the tech coming home from school. So, what is it? Pick out the white person. There's hardly any. I know it sounds racist, but it's the truth. Like,
it is the truth. Yeah,
it's crazy. Sure, but Brigham has a new nickname this year as Black Brigham. That's it. Yeah. That's the way it is.
From our meeting last week, Herman put it in great perspective, is that how much we're paying in terms of money for the asylum seekers is, and I've been saying at the door as well, the National Children's Hospital, which is 2.1 billion, we actually pay that every year, and we will continue to pay that every year for asylum seekers in Ireland. So we're going to be building, just to think about it, try building a National Children's Hospital every single year. That's how much we're paying.
2.2 million a day, isn't it? I think it's 2.2 million a day.
Matty McGrath, like, I think he's played a video when I was trying to get up on the phone earlier. I missed it, but I seen it anyway on YouTube or TikTok. Like, where's the 36 million gone? Like,
546 million. That's a $500 million. $500 million is
crazy, like, you know.
Do you want to finish on a conspiracy theory, Paul?
Go on.
18 Fine Gael TDs not standing for re-election. There's a couple of Fianna Fáilers gone as well. There's a lot of people jumping ship, which means they're relatively comfortable. They're happy. They don't need the hassle of politics anymore.
Yeah, Heather Humphreys was the latest, wasn't she?
Yeah. So all of these government contracts that have been given out, it'll just make you think that maybe there's a few backhanders there going around, and 18 potentially 18 Fine Gael candidates just don't need the hassle anymore of being in the public eye, and they're quite happy to retire on what they've made selling out the country. But again, that's completely a conspiracy theory, so it's just something that's knocking around in my head.
I love conspiracy theories.
We will investigate that 100%, and we will, if they're ever caught, they'll be dragged in chains to a grand jury for the Irish people to decide on their fate. So we will, like the Irish Party, are very much for law and order, and we won't let any of that slip through our hands. So we are. That's just the thing about that is a conspiracy theory. Jesus Christ, no.
Yeah.
Or it could be the case that they know what's coming and they've now realised that they don't want to be involved in it, so they're jumping ship.
Exactly.
Could be that as well. You know.
But there was some person posted up there a minute ago. Yeah, there was somebody posted up there a minute ago, 700 fake nurses. Like I said this 2 weeks ago on the show, 85% of claims in the HSE are against non-nationals, doctors and nurses. So what does that tell you? They're coming over here with bogus stuff. They're not doctors, they're not nurses. A neurosurgeon coming in to fiddle with your brain and he doesn't even know his arse from his elbow. Like, you know what I mean? That's it. Come on. You know, it's got. Now I'm not saying them all, but listen, there is a lot of them in here. Right, listen, we're gonna have to finish up here now, right? So well done, everyone. Thank you very much. Derek, I'm gonna drop you down there. I'll talk to you in a minute, and
thank you
very much. In a minute. Thanks, Derek, for coming in. Fair play to you. Orla, I'm gonna drop you down, hon. Thank you very much. Glenn, I will talk to you in a minute, and Martin, I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay. Anthony, it's been a good show again tonight, hasn't it? Fair play. There's a lot of videos we didn't get through, but hey, listen.
Just to say that, yeah. Look, we'll hold them for next week, and plenty still to go by. 3 shows worth of videos there. You know,
we might do a midweek show. Andy, I'll drop you down and I'll talk to you in a while, right? Cheers. So, thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. It's been emotional. It's been a good night. Fair play, and we'll finish off now tonight as we always do. The truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. You just let it loose, and it will defend itself. Night and God bless.